Hey there, fellow retro fans. Welcome back to That's Entertainment, where we dig into the golden age of gaming and celebrate the pixel-packed glory of yesteryear. Today, we're diving into the top 10 NES games based on movies. These adaptations took silver screen stories and crammed them into 8-bit cartridges, giving us some of the most entertaining adventures that we could play through at the time. Some of them were faithful, some were weird, and they all tried to bottle that movie magic into video game form. Lights, camera, action. Let's roll. Let's kick things off with one of the most notorious and nostalgic titles in the movie game category. Ghostbusters on the NES looks and feels like a relic from a bygone era. With its simplistic driving and building clearing gameplay, it almost feels more like a Commodore 64 or Atari game, and that makes sense because this was originally developed for those older systems. They're where I first experienced this version of Ghostbusters. Still, there's a raw, strange charm to it. If you grew up playing this back in the day, that music is probably burned into your brain. It's bare bones, sure, but the nostalgia is undeniable. Ambitious doesn't even begin to describe this one. Roger Rabbit on the NES was part adventure game, part open-world detective sim, and part, what am I even doing right now? It blended driving sections, clue hunting, and an overhead map with a surprisingly complex storyline. It could be confusing, even maddening, but there's something commendable about how hard it tried to be different. There was so much going on that it would be very hard to claim developer Rare, yes, that Rare, was just phoning it in. It wasn't just a cookie-cutter platformer, and that makes it worth remembering. Yippee-ki-yay, 8-bit gamers! Die Hard on the NES might not be a household favorite, but it deserves more love. With enemies that felt genuinely dangerous, a real-time countdown, and multiple possible endings, this game actually captured some of the tension from the movie. You had to manage resources, plan your movement carefully, and improvise just like John McClane. It kind of had a bit of a stealth game vibe, and it was impressively done at the time. It's one of those games that surprises you with how much thought went into the design. Friday the 13th has taken its fair share of punches over the years. But under the surface of its punishing difficulty and cryptic structure lies a gameplay loop that fans keep coming back to. You switch between camp counselors, defend kids from Jason, and try to piece together how to take him down. It's a survival horror game before that genre even had a name. And while it can be frustrating, it also creates tension and dread that few NES games can match. Those who are familiar with it know that it blends elements of games like Punch-Out and Castlevania in some weird ways. And when you see it that way, you learn to enjoy it that much more. Jaws might not sound like a game that makes for compelling action, but somehow it pulls it off. It's a short game. You can beat it in under 15 minutes if you know what you're doing, but that doesn't make it any less satisfying. The gameplay loop of upgrading your ship, diving for conch shells, and tracking the shark is tight, rewarding, and strangely addictive. It leans into arcade sensibilities in the best way, with even some silly minigames that are enjoyable the 100th time you've played it. In true Jaws fashion, it offers a bite-sized experience that's easy to return to. Time to serve the public trust, protect the innocent, and deliver some justice, 8-bit style. RoboCop on the NES is a tough but technically impressive game. The graphics are detailed, the controls feel weighty and purposeful, and the sound design is gritty and intense. You had to punch and shoot your way through Detroit, while also managing your limited ammo and health. It combined side-scrolling action with a bit of strategy, and it really felt like you were stepping into RoboCop's metallic boots. It's faithful enough, and does a great job with its bosses, too. Here's one that often flies under the radar. While Friday the 13th hogs all the conversation, A Nightmare on Elm Street is arguably the stronger game. It supports up to 4 players with the NES 4 score, features creepy level design, and has a clever dream world mechanic that shifts gameplay as you doze off. It blends action platforming with eerie atmosphere and stands out as one of the more creative licensed horror games on the system. It's one of the earliest party games there were, akin to something like New Super Mario Bros., if you like your party games wearing Freddy Krueger masks. Fun fact that we've mentioned before on this channel, The Goonies 2 is a sequel to a game we never got in the US. But that didn't stop it from becoming a cult classic. It's an oddball mix of side-scrolling action and first-person exploration that makes you feel like you're always discovering something new. Rescue your kidnapped Goonie friends, unlock doors with hidden hammers, and try to wrap your brain around the bizarre structure. It's weird, it's fun, and it's the kind of game you like to return to again and again. Give us a remaster, Konami. Now this is how you do a movie adaptation. Willow on the NES takes the fantasy world of the film and expands on it in all the right ways. The world of Anduin, aka the Mother World, feels bigger, deeper, and richer than what we saw in theaters. Combat is responsive, magic is rewarding, and the RPG progression is smartly tuned. It's an immersive, challenging experience that plays like a cousin to Zelda, and it has stood the test of time as one of Capcom's most overlooked gems. It's also worlds ahead of some of the other extended universe stuff that's come from the Willow franchise. This game rules. Based on Tim Burton's 1989 film, Batman on the NES is a masterclass in licensed game design. With a moody color palette, an incredible soundtrack, and tight controls, it just oozes style. The wall jumping mechanic feels great, the bosses are intense, and the cutscenes add just the right cinematic flair. Released late in the NES lifecycle, it's a shining example of what developers could do when they really understood the hardware. Even if you weren't a Batman fan, this game probably made you one. It's another case of Sunsoft delivering great content, and it shows why they shined on this generation of consoles. And that's our list. From Camp Counselors to Caped Crusaders, the NES had no shortage of movie-based games to obsess over. Some were strange, some were brilliant, and most were unforgettable in their own way. Which one was your favorite growing up? Did we miss a hidden gem? Let us know in the comments, and as always, thank you for watching That's Entertainment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, so you never miss another trip back to the 8-bit box office. Check out our review for Arcade Paradise. It's a very fun, retro-heavy game. If you're into D&D, you can also check out our sister channel, Tellust, where we have plenty of maps on display. And we'll also be refreshing this channel with new retro reviews, so keep an eye out.